Hello, welcome back, and if you're new here, just plain welcome. But yes, today is day 5 out of 14 for my sketchbook challenge, and today is all about the Japanese storefront. Today's artwork I actually found on Pinterest. It was like this photo and I really liked it. It was this one, and then the girl had a link to her Twitter and she was like, oh, if anyone wants like storefront references, here you go. And I was like, is she giving me the opportunity to paint a Japanese storefront? I was like, heck yes. So now here I am painting this Japanese storefront. So I went a little bit more liner heavy because I wanted to create a nice border for my watercolors. I want to have a more of a little bit like a looser kind of look. So I ended up going over all of my pencil in this Sakura Pigma Micron, which is one of my favorite fine liners personally. And then I ended up actually writing these words and I have no clue what they mean. I don't know any language but English, so I just copied it. I'm pretty sure it's not even written correctly, so please don't take offense if you do know Japanese. And for these lines in the bricks, I skipped some areas to make it look more organic, which you can probably tell. And this was probably my favorite part. I'm actually surprised at how much I like the outlining, but of course I also love painting. So for the painting, I tried to build up the shadows with a lot of cool tones. The first layer was cool and I kind of made a little bit more neutral in the end. But I ended up doing a lot of the windows. The photo looked pretty dark, but instead had like this very bright shield. So I wanted everything to like kind of contrast that between like dull and like bright. And due to its like natural texture, because it had a lot of like folds in it, I actually ended up spending the most time on it. Everything else like kind of needed to be built up, but this part needed to be built up the most along with these steps. The steps have a lot of like texture in it as well, obviously because it's stone. So I had to go over the shadow area a little bit, match the coolness, because right now it's kind of like very different values. And for the plant, I kind of just splashed on a little bit of color, and as I went through the piece, I kept on darkening it and adding different like tones and values. But yeah, here I am again, making the darkest value way darker with a butt ton of Payne's Gray watercolor. I mixed the Payne's Gray with the violet I have, or no, it's the purple from Core. I'll link it down below if you really want to know. But yeah, so I ended up using that same color on the sidewalk as well to kind of make it more cohesive. This is something I always try to do in my artwork, using the same colors everywhere and building up all of the values. And here I am trying to build up the shield more. I kind of just follow the image and I used the same color I used for the base, but I just piled on more to kind of darken it. The same technique I also use on the doors. Like it looks very dark right now, but then watercolor as it dries, it kind of lightens up a little bit, turns a little bit more transparent, and then I go over it again and again until it's kind of has that opacity that I was like looking for. The pots you can see like they're very light right now, but don't worry, I add more, and I also added a lot of shading to the trees, to different areas. I know that the shield definitely makes things darker, so I added more shading in those areas specifically. But yeah, that's all I have to say for now, so I think I'm going to play some music and I'll just chime in a little bit when I have something to say about what I'm doing in this artwork. So here the greenery kind of looks 2D, but now I'm adding a lot of shading. I make sure that the pigment I'm putting down is very not watered down, so it has this very opaque feel. And I'm just adding shadows to all of my trees. I use the same color for shading for all of them. I used black gouache to kind of deepen up the shadows. I wasn't happy with how dark they were, and gouache is super opaque. This is acrylic gouache, so once I put it down, there's like no moving it after. This is Holbein's Acryla Gouache, and it's one of my favorites, and I think it makes a really nice pop in this artwork, especially because the darks need to be amped up. And I also mixed a little bit of white gouache in there too to kind of get the grays, because I find I wanted some things to look a little bit more crisp than what watercolors could give me, or what I feel like they could give me with how I personally use them. I also used the white to kind of give the menus a little extra oomph, you know, because chalkboard menus are so cute, and my Winsor Newton Cotman watercolor in white would just not cut it. But yeah, the stairs I also did the same thing, where I kind of like put more gouache on top, because I found that it was a little bit too dull at that moment. I also used the gouache for the lettering and for the light fixture. Like, the lighting in the photo wasn't too intense, so I ended up putting it on and then I tapped it off, so it kind of looks very faint and in the back, like dimension wise. And then I just added a few little final touches with the gouache, and I also did some leaves in gouache, and then this artwork was basically done after I did some fine liner touches. And here you go, me ripping off the tape and calling quits on it. I mean, it was done, so not really calling quits, but yes. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and stick around if you want to see more content. Bye!